You have some practice of going to the Greyhound property on Mondays?
Yeah.
Would you take the children with you?
Yeah, most of the time I would take the kids in.
Well, would your wife drive in on Monday, or would you drive her into work?
I drive her into work.
This is on Mondays?
On Mondays.
And would you pick her up after?
Pick her up.
All right.
What shift does she work?
She works days.
What should it be?
She would be a 4 to, it was 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
All right. Now, were you aware of Company Exhibit 1, the February 1st bulletin?
I hadn't seen the bulletin, but I had heard about it.
Do you recall when you had heard about it?
Oh, about 3 days before that.
All right.
I think that's when it came out, and I had heard about it, but I never read it.
All right.
I never went in to read it.
All right. On previous weeks, you say you would take the children with you to Greyhound.
Yeah, we would go in.
Where would you ordinarily go in?
Into the coffee room.
You mean the same recreation room where this
Yeah.
verbal exchange took place? All right. Were you ever challenged before on your right to enter?
No.
Did you ever try to enter in any kind of a secretive fashion?
No.
All right. On this day in question, did you attempt to get some kind of permission before going to the recreation room?
I went to the front office. The door was locked. That was by the dino room.
About what
which is
time?
the north end of the building.
All right.
That's about 4:15.
And what was the reason that you went for permission on this occasion?
Well, I was going to pick up my overalls because I was going to go to work the next day. I was going to have them washed.
Were your overalls in a locker?
Yeah, they're right underneath the coffee room.
I
So
see.
my kids wanted coffee, so I went soda, so I went right up.
All right. You say that the office was locked.
Yeah.
All right.
The door to the office.
The door was. Did you attempt to get permission to go into the go to your locker from anyone else in supervision?
No. Mr. Salinas was in there, so I figured I'd probably see him in there.
Seen where?
Inside the office.
All right.
In the inside of the building.
All right. You recall being intercepted by Mr. Condiff?
Yeah.
All right. Tell us the conversation that you had with Mr. Condiff at that time.
All he said was, you better watch it, Mr. Salinas is in there. And then I said, well, I'll probably see him inside. And then he said, you know, you're not supposed to be in here. And then I said, well, the front office is closed. And then I kept on walking.
All right. Did he say anything else?
No,
Did you say anything else beside that?
not to him.
All right. And so where did you go from that point?
Right up into the coffee room.
All right. And did you go to the candy machine?
I was at the coffee machine.
Coffee machine, all right. And is that where you were when Mr. Moreland came into the recreation room?
I was away from the coffee machine. I had already gotten my coffee,
All right.
and I had placed it on the table.
Okay, and were the children with you?
Yeah, they were getting some soda.
No. Incidentally, the girl is how old?
8.
All right. Does she have some kind of a physical ailment?
Yeah, she's asthmatic.
Asthmatic. All right. How does that,
Well,
how does that manifest itself in the case of some kind of unusual incident? Is she excitable?
yeah, very excitable.
Yeah. All right.
Manifest, you mean?
Well, how does it show itself in some way?
Yeah, she can get sick that way. If she gets emotionally upset.
All right. All right. Did you see Mr. Moreland come into the coffee room?
I was standing there with a cigarette in my hand.
You had a cigarette in your hand?
Yeah, and he walked in. You want me to tell you what happened?
Yes, please do. Go ahead.
He walked in and he told me, Coda, you know better than to be in here.
All right, just a second. Is that the tone of voice that he used when he first
I
spoke
would
to
say
you?
it was much louder.
Would you please try to recreate as best you can the tone of voice that Mr. Moreland used at that time?
Coda, you know you're not supposed to be in here, and you had time to see that bulletin. And I said, okay. And then I looked at my kids, and I told him, let's go. And then he said it again. You know better than to bring him in here. And this was pretty loud. So I started to get my kids to go out. And he yelled it again. And I walked out.
When you say he yelled it again, what did he say the third time?
He said, "You better get out of here. Right now."
All right, just a second. How were your son and your daughter reacting to this?
Well, one of them looked down, and then the other one was looking at me, and she said, "You better go." So she sort of got my hand, and I walked out with her.
Yeah.
You know, and the other boy was walking in behind me.
Yeah. All right. Now, at this time, was your cigarette lit?
Yeah.
Did you light the cigarette yourself, or did someone assist you?
No, there was a man inside.
What's that man's name?
Richard Stokes.
All right.
He gave me the cigarette.
Did he light it up for you too?
He lit it for me.
All right. Now, when Mr. Moreland spoke to you in this fashion, you've indicated 3 times. How did this react upon you? How did you feel?
Well, I was sort of embarrassed in front of the kids for having somebody yell at me like that.
All right.
And all I wanted to do was just get out of the building, out of his way.
Yes.
So I started walking out of there.
All right. Did you recall walking down the stairs?
Yeah.
And,
started walking, and he was following me.
All right. What was
I was walking at a pretty fast pace. As I reached the bottom of the stairs, he said, "Throw that cigarette away."
Can you recreate for us the tone of voice that he used at that time?
"Throw that cigarette away."
All right. Go ahead.
Then he said, started walking down. I started walking away, and then he said, "And I said, throw that damn cigarette." No, he didn't use the word damn. He said, I said, "Throw that cigarette away."
All right, just a second. You didn't throw it away the first time he spoke
No.
to you? All right. Is there any particular reason why?
There's no ashtrays there. There's nowhere to really throw it.
All right.
So I walked down. I just kept on walking. I was pretty upset at this time. And he said, well, the second time when he said, "Throw that cigarette," I threw the cigarette like this.
Indicating off to your right.
Yeah. I threw it like this.
Where did you throw the cigarette?
It hit the wall.
It hit the wall.
It hit the wall.
Did you see it hit the wall?
No, because my son told me that it hit the wall.
Do you have any idea where Mr. Moreland was standing in relation to the cigarette when you threw it?
He's approximately 8 feet away from me.
8 feet from you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, of course you didn't see the cigarette hit the wall. All right. Did you at any time attempt to throw the cigarette at Mr. Moreland?
No, I didn't try to throw it at him.
All right.
Well, maybe he says he didn't try to throw the cigarette at him. You might ask him, is it possible a cigarette may have landed at Mr. Moreland's feet? Inadvertently, perhaps.
Well, he said he doesn't know where the cigarette landed. You didn't see the cigarette land, is that right?
No, I didn't see the cigarette.
Yes.